we haven't really done well this year. Like, even though we've got second both phases, and like we're winning a lot of games, we've like mainly won all our games except like losing to Ghost. We lost to Ghost like 3 times in the second phase, and like lost to PK once and Radiance once, something like that. We've mainly been winning our games, and we haven't really improved in a very long time, I'd say.
Before the season started, I pegged them as the #1 team because their playstyle is very hard to deal with. And they kind of play their own meta. They have their own picks, you know. They pick a lot of Ganeshes and a lot of like those defensive supports, and they're really good at defending.
They're another team with a lot of players that are really strong and well known, and they kind of have a different style that they like to play. And they're also a full European team, which is kind of cool in itself.
Cherry will pop, Nico will pop, Dardes will pop, Vote, Raffer, Beast will in. I think that entire team is just talented, and they play team Smite well too.
I think SSG's done really well. They're probably the most consistent team, maybe except for Ghost, who I guess they're consistently losing to Ghost, but...
We actually feel like we have their number because I think we're like 6-1 against them, and the only set we lost is one where we had to use our coach as a sub. So I think that they're maybe a little bit overhyped, but they're also very, very good at playing against the other teams in the league, which is obviously really important. And, you know, sometimes based on the luck of the draw, maybe you can get to a finals based on the right placements and the teams that you have to face.
Spacestation's been doing really, really well this whole year. They've been super, super solid up until really the end of this Phase 2 playoffs, to be honest.
We did really bad at playoffs, and then Phase 2 was pretty much the same. We were really good in the regular split, and then we did terrible at playoffs. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's like a playoff curse.
They just come to LAN or playoffs, and they just don't play well. For whatever reason, I feel like it happened in the mid-season playoffs, happened this playoffs, and I don't know why, if it's just nerves. No one on that team should have nerves. And no one on that team should have draft issues. I don't feel like it's their drafting, but something is not working on game day.
I think you can kind of see there's like frustrations from some players that maybe not the entire team agrees with in terms of adjusting to a more like NA mindset in some ways, in terms of like how fast NA likes to play the game.
I feel like a couple of their god pools and their playstyles can be very predictable. I don't think they're very adaptive in their picks and their playstyles. I think they kind of revert back to things that have maybe worked in the past that don't so work now, just as like a safety net.
Cherio has been popping off, but with certain picks. So when Cherio doesn't get like his comfort picks, he doesn't look for the same things as he does when he has, for example, Erlang Shen or something like that. So if they're not that productive as a jungler, I'm pretty sure you can win against that team.
Leading up to those playoffs, both of them, we had really bad scrims, and we kind of regressed as a team instead of like learning or like adding new gods to our god pools and stuff like that, or new strats.
Regular season, they're a god tier team. They are so amazing during the regular season, but whenever it counts, I just don't know what happens.
I think they burn themselves out. They like double block every day. They try to get stream hours in. They play the game a lot, and I think when you're doing all that and then you're also starting to lose, you start to like get confused about what am I doing wrong? What do I need to change and things like that.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them go to the semis, and if they really pick up their play, I think no one would be surprised to see them make the finals or even win, but that's kind of a big if given just how they've been performing as of late.
I mean, if we stop trolling, we'll just win the whole thing pretty easily, I'd say.
I don't see why they can't make the finals. I don't see why they can't win the finals. But so I think they can make the. It's hard to say, right? But I think they have a high shot of making the finals.
It'll be very interesting because that would be Adapting versus Cherry, and supposedly both of them are going to be retiring. So that's going to be a couple guys fighting for their Smite lives.
I definitely think we can win. Like, I still believe that we will win. I have to, right? If we don't believe, then you're not going to win. I believe we are better than the other teams. When we just play our best, like when we're clicking, like it just feels so easy, but it doesn't happen often. Like when it happens, it feels easy. When it doesn't, I'd say like we just get lost sometimes, and that's like the worst thing you can do. Like when you just in game and you're lost, just like you're never gonna win. And as long as we stay in the games, like I think we can win against any team.